Welcome back, guys. We've got a little bit of rework to do. We've got this adjustable chiropractor table back in the workshop. Just came back from the upholsterers. I shared some pictures of it over on our Facebook welding community page. And when it got all said and done with the upholstered top, now it's a little too high. So we've got to lower this frame about 5.5 or 6 inches roughly. So this will be a great video for you guys to check out because we're going to attempt to cut this down, re-weld everything back together, and make it look as though we've never been here. So stick around, this should be an interesting video. He needs this to be a little bit shorter than it already is. He likes that this says Bronco on the side. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut this off and then put a cap on top of that. Then we're going to lower this frame as low as we can go. It had some lights that went on top of this that originally I made this to just clear those lights, and that's how we had wanted it, but it's still too tall with the upholstered top on it. When we get this all said and done today in this episode, I'm going to show you what this looks like as a completed chiropractor table. This is adjustable, so it's got adjustable feet on it. It can go up. I'm going to be building one of these very similar with a hydraulic. So it's going to have a remote that raises and lowers it up to change the height of it. That should be pretty unique, but that's for a future episode. We're going to lower this as low as we possibly can go. So from the top of the seat to this level, we're at about 6 3/8. Now we'll check it at the windshield, and it looks like we're about 6 5/8. So to be safe, let's drop this whole thing down 6 inches. This is all 1-inch square tube. The roll bars on the side are all 1-inch square tube. The legs are 1.25 inches because we've got 1-inch square tube that's slid inside of it, giving us 6 inches of height adjustment. So because it's 1.25 welded to 1 inch, we're going to have a little bit of work to do, but I'm going to show you, I think, a decent way that we can attack this so that it doesn't look as though we've done anything. So the first thing I got to do is take this frame off, kind of protect the surface a little bit, and start cutting this apart. So I think the best way of attacking this and going about it is to cut these legs off flush right to this tube all the way around, and then come up 6 inches, make a mark, and cut that off. So first thing we're going to do is, we already know that we're cutting flush to this tube, so I'm just going to start measuring from here, scribe a line up 6 inches, and do that to all 4 legs. Then once we get that all cut apart, we can grind back our paint and then start reassembly. Makes it nice actually because it has paint on it, so I can easily get a nice clean mark on it. That's why we measure twice, cut once. I've already made a mistake in my marking. I'm 1 inch off. So that's why we double check everything. We're going to get a little bit of extra height out of this by cutting off this top section. So we're going to need this portable bandsaw to do the work that we need to do, but it's already set up here, so let's do this and then we can take the portable bandsaw off and do the work that we need to on the legs. It's one of the reasons why I love this tool, because I use it constantly. And if you want to use this elsewhere, take this portable bandsaw and use it elsewhere and not on the table, it is super easy to do. All you do is underneath here, there's a plug. Just unplug the saw, that's that. Then up under here is just a clamping mechanism, and you just loosen the clamping mechanism and pull the saw off. That's it. That's all there is to it, and it goes back on just as fast. This is all there is to it. Super slick. Some people say they like to plug the saw into a foot pedal and then have foot control. I don't see any need for that. I've never had a need for that. I like to be able to have the switch right here to turn it off and on, and it's handy. And then I don't have stuff on the floor that I got to worry about tripping over or sweeping around. I fill these with expanding foam, and then after this dries, I'll sand it flat and flush, and I might either put a cap on it or I'll just actually paint it black on the top. We'll see. Put a coat of epoxy over it. We'll see. Just experimenting a little bit. All right, let's work on getting these 4 cuts made. Then we can get rid of this bottom section, set it off to the side, and then make this cut and get these 6 inches pieces out of here. Then we can rejoin the bottom half to the top. Now I've got the table fixtured down over there. I'm clamping right against that leg because that's the leg that's actually getting cut off flush. They all are. So now I got to cut this leg off flush. Then once I do all 4 of these, then we can weld that lower base back onto it. Then I'll just grind all that flush, clean it all up, then just re-weld it up. And there we are. Now we just gotta weld it all up. Once we weld it, we'll blend it all together, sand it down, cuff it up with some sandpaper, touch it up. Tried to make my cuts as square as possible so I didn't have a whole lot of stuff that I needed to fill in. And here it is, all lowered. Came out really good. You'll never be able to tell. I sanded it down with some scuffy pad, and it's about probably 3/8 of an inch above the back seats, and about the same thing up under the windshield. So this is considerably lower now. It's going to work nice. All right, let me go get a coat of paint on it, then we'll get the top back on it, and I'll show it to you as the completed project. And this is it, all back together, clear coated, touched up, repainted with the custom top that the upholsterer put on it, and it came out awesome. The customer's coming by here shortly to pick up this frame, and I still got a little bit of electrical work. He wants to put some underglow on the bottom side of that vehicle and connect it in with the existing wiring. So I'm going to be doing that. So that's why I don't have the car up here with it for you to see, but it is just going to clear everything perfectly. And this table came out great. And you can see how this would work if you've ever been to a chiropractor or whatever. So your face would kind of like rest down in here. It gives you that cutout for your face. Came out really good. So that should solve the problem. These are the LED lights that we're using, and I'll show you how I'm hooking these up. It's actually pretty simple. It probably seems like it could be a little complicated or sketchy, but it's really not. It's pretty straightforward. So these lights are designed to run on 24 volts. That's what the battery is in this car. It's a 24 volt battery. I have another one that I've wired up that's 12 volt, but I specifically ordered these so that I can run these directly off the battery. This battery here is a 24 volt DC battery. That's what powers up the wheels to make this little Power Wheels car move back when it was a Power Wheels car. These LED light strips work off 24 volts DC, and the way that works is that you plug this into the wall, 120 volts, it steps it down and converts it to DC power, and it comes out this end at 24 volts. So that end has 24 volts on it. So all I have to do is cut this cord off, just like that, wire this directly to the battery, and I've already pinned out the one that has the white stripe on it is positive, this one is negative. So when I put power to the end of this wire, it'll put power on these pins, and then when I plug it into this receiver box, this is what receives the signal and allows you to use the remote, and that powers up that. It's that simple. Then it's just a matter of doing a nice, neat, tidy job, making everything look good. And I'm also putting an inline fuse in this, just as a safety precaution. I don't believe that this is fused, but it could be. I'm going to wire this all up using crimps and heat shrink connectors. I'm not going to show you the arduous, me connecting each wire and stripping wires and all that stuff. It's pretty basic. This isn't really a tutorial on wiring. I'm just kind of showing you how I have arrived at this concept, and I will show you in detail after I get it all wired up. So bring in, show you what we've got. This is the fuse that obviously goes to the battery to protect it when you're charging it. Then this is the fuse that I just put in line to protect this, which is our LED lights. I've put some heat shrink crimps on this, put a couple cable ties, make it look nice and neat. This plugs into this control box, which powers up the dash, which allows the headlights to turn on. Then this will plug into our control module that I've just zip tied to this wire right here, so that kind of protects it from shock and vibration. So for right now, what I want to do is put a little bit of two-sided tape on these fuses to hold these down. Not that anyone will see it, but I'll know it's there. It'll keep them from rattling around and kind of make it look nice and neat and orderly. Now if we've done things right, we should be able to take this end and plug it into our control box, and it should turn on. Actually, let's unplug the power from it first. Let's plug this LED strips into the control box, and now we'll apply power to the control box. There we go. Look at that. Then you just turn it off and on with the remote. So now this LED strip is running off that battery. We'll unplug it while we're rigging it all up. There. Now the next step is for me to flip the car upside down and attach all of this LED strip to the underside. Actually, before we flip the car over, let's get the dash out so we can relocate the headlight switch. So if you see, remember this one I told you, this powers the dash, so when you pull that out and you turn on the dash, you get nothing. So this powers up the car, this turns on the headlights, and when you plug this in, that powers that dash. So now that makes that little starting sound. Then it powers up a little LED display up here, and the headlights are on. I'm going to take the dash out. I'm going to bypass this and just remove this switch and put it right here to the outside so it's easily accessible. And I'll do it just like I did the blue one. Put it right about here. On the side of the switch, there's a little line to make it orientated so it doesn't like rotate around. So I'm gonna have to cut one of those lines right in the side of the car. Just use a knife. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice fit. Sweet. I'm all done with my work inside the car now. I brought the LED up through the existing hole in the bottom, put a cable tie there to hold it so it's nice and secure, and then plugged it into the control module. And I've got the control module plugged in and powered up. So now all I have to do is put it all back together in here. I had to make a minor adjustment on this because this blue one doesn't have the interior seat in there. The little receiver or the emitter is visible. It's out in the open. Well, this one was inside here and I wasn't thinking clearly. When I put the seat back in this, the emitter will be hidden. So I removed a panel that went right here. It didn't go to anything anyways. It was probably something for future use. I put this control box right here with a little bit of two-sided tape, and now it leaves that emitter right there. So now we don't have to worry about any issues with getting the lights to turn off and on. Okay. You know, a lot of this stuff, that's what it is. It's adjusting and adapting as you go. And that's what I do with a lot of my welding stuff too, is I just adapt, build as I go. I kind of envision in my head. I have, you know, probably 99% of it all in my head, but sometimes, you know, stuff like this, something simple you don't think about and overlook. Easy fix. And here it is. I think this is going to look super good. Came out nice. Like I said, there's adhesive that holds these LED strips on, but I've also got it held with some cable ties just to help hold everything in place. A couple things that I did off camera is these front wheels would turn, and they really don't need to turn. I wanted to make this LED strip run nice and clean through this knuckle, so I actually brought it in the workshop and welded the steering on both sides so that the wheels stay even, and it'll make it a lot easier to transport as well. It goes all along here. I got them running right now. And another thing that I did is I took these motors off the back. Everything that I can do to lighten this up and make it a lot more simpler is better. So I took these motors out, which used to be here. So these are about maybe 4 pounds a piece, so that lightened it up. And then I just had to make a spacer to make up for that width. So that'll go on just like that. Now we can start getting this back together. And the axle just goes through like that. And we can put on this wheel. See, that's going to look nice. Made sure there's clearance so that the tires don't hit the LED strips. Had these LED strips running for about an hour, so worked pretty good. Now I'll throw on my other spacer. Put this other wheel on. Tighten it up. There. Now we got this one done, and we can get it back to the customer, and they can have their stuff. I'll put the windshield in it and put the mirrors back on it, wipe it all down, get all my fingerprints off it, and we'll be in good shape. And I'm going to be doing another one on an electric lift. I'm going to be creating one that has an electric lift, modifying it. That's going to be coming up in another episode, so that ought to be pretty interesting. But yeah, customers should be real happy with this. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're wondering about any of the tools that you see me using, I'll have links down below. Until next week, I will see you then. Take care, stay safe, and God bless.